Welcome back to this Modifying Doom 3 editor series. In this episode, we take a brief look at how to optimize our maps using Vis Portals. We'll also examine how to use the in-editor light overlap diagnostic tool to ensure our light placement does not create optimization problems. Nothing worse than a laggy map, so following these tips will guarantee that your map creations run silky smooth. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, now's as good a time as ever. Leave us a like, dislike, or drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, click the alert button so you're notified when we post new content. Or drop by the channel Tom's World for a neighborly visit and a complete list of all our videos. If you've ever wondered how the Doom 3 game was built, stick with us as we explore the fascinating world of level creation in the Doom 3 editor. Well, thanks for joining me, and I hope everybody's doing well. So today we're going to cover a topic that's a little dry and a little technical, so we're going to try and get through it quickly. And specifically what we're going to talk about is map optimization. And there's a lot of ways we can optimize our maps, but today we're going to focus on Vis Portals and controlling our light overlap. Now, before we jump into our map here, I just want to show you guys a couple of online resources. So let's jump on the internet here, and here in the id SDK, which I showed you guys, I think it was way back in video 1, they actually have an article here on Vis Portals that you might want to have a quick read over. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad, so that'll get you started, and I'll put the link down below. And then the other one I found, interestingly enough, is I showed you guys that Dark Mod last time. We went to the website there. I think it was in our, I think it was in our Sentry Bot video, and those folks over there created this Wikipedia page, which actually is a great article on Vis Portals. So that's a little bit of reading you can do if you want to flesh out the topic. This is obviously going to cover it in much more detail than I'm going to today. But I would strongly recommend, in terms of Vis Portals, to go to those two websites, have a little bit of a read, and that'll give you some background. So we're just in our map that we drew for our Sentry Bot. It's our two-roomed map. If we go here on XYZ, we can see it there. And I started talking a little bit about Vis Portals, and I didn't really get into them. Now, the only addition I made is, if we jump over here, is I just drew some pipes. I mean, they're out of place, obviously, but I just wanted to put some polygons in the map just for illustrative purposes. So I just drew those there. So let's just jump back here. And I just put those again in for illustrative purposes. And then if we hide this little trigger here real quick, we can see that there's these weird brushes. They look like they're black on one surface. And then if we kind of run around to the other side of it, we can see that they have a no-draw surface. And these are our Vis Portals. Now, I think the best way I can illustrate what these things do is, I have another map, this exact map. I just copied it over and renamed it. And it's a version of the exact same map, but without the Vis Portals in there. So let's just jump into the game, and I'll show you what these Vis Portals are all about. So what we want to do here is, so let's go map M6B. So that's that one without the portals in it. So here it is here, and we can see, obviously, it's depicted like the real world. You can't see anything beyond the walls and into the in through the doorway there. But if we go into our command line and we type in r_show triz space, and we can put a number 3 in there. We can actually do 1, 2, or 3. It gives us different depictions of the triangles, but we'll go 3. We hit enter, and what we can see here, this is actually the way the Doom 3 engine, that's what it sees, okay? And you can see that we can basically see everything in the map from here. We can see all the monsters, we can see the pipes back there, we can see the room back there, and that's how the Doom 3 engine renders. And basically it sees everything in the map. If we don't put portals in there, it's going to look and way back there and see everything. Now, not a big deal if we have a room with, a map with a couple of rooms, but if we have 5, 6, 10 rooms back there, full of entities, full of triangles, well, basically the engine is going to depict all that, and your video card and your CPU is going to start to sputter, your map's going to come to a grinding halt, and your frame rate's going to drop through the floor. So we have to fix that somehow. And we do that through Vis Portals. So let's get out of here real quick. And let me just draw a Vis Portal real quick just to show how it's done, okay? Well, actually, before we do that, let's go back to that original map. So let's compare this. This is what the engine sees without Vis Portals in this map. And if we go here, map M6, and we take a look at the map that's got portals in it, we can see that those little portals, they hide everything back there. Okay, and they basically limit what the engine can see. And portals basically are kind of like dynamic walls, if you will, or sorry, doors, and they kind of open and close depending on where the player runs. So let's just go back into our editor, and we're actually in map 6B here. And I'm just going to draw a Vis Portal real quick to show you guys how to do that. So what I normally do is, and you know, drawing, well, let's draw them first. I'll show you what I mean. So I usually draw the, I usually select the geometry that I want to draw the Vis Portal around, just to make it easy for myself. And basically what we want to do is we want to put it in this hole right here. So I'm going to grab that brush there. Now, what we want to start off with basically in our media folder and textures, so we want to go down to our common folder, and we want to find our texture of no draw, which is right there. And we want to draw a brush inside that opening. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's get it positioned properly. Right there, and we're going to draw it thin. Okay, there it is there. So it's sealing that, basically it's sealing that opening. There it is there. And then what we have to do, so let's just grab it and hide everything else. One surface of it, we have to texture with a Vis Portal texture. So we just want, so you can see that this is a 6-sided brush now, right? It's got no draw surface on all of it. So on one surface, and we do that through Shift, Control, and left mouse button. We're just grabbing one surface of it. We're going to go down here into our texture folder. Let's close the common one. And we're going to go into this editor folder. And here's Vis Portal. And we're just going to click on that. And that's going to texture just one side of it with our Vis Portal. Okay, so that's how to make them. All right. There it is there. All right. And let's sort of see these things in action. Let's go back to that map 6, the one with the Vis Portals in it. Open. Whoops. Map 6. So those changes to the map. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, let's hide the monsters because we don't want to attack them when we're in our show triz mode. So let's just grab those real quick and let's just put in, I mean, we could delete them, but I'm just going to hide them off the map. So hide 1, enter, and let's do the same for that big guy. Hide 1, enter. There. Let's save and let's compile. Okay, now let's go into that map. Map 6. And with that show triz command on there, I just want to show you kind of how this works. Now these portals will kind of open and close. Now you can see this is optimized just about perfectly, is that we're only seeing the triangles that the player can see, okay? Like even here you can see they're totally blocked out even though we have this hole here. Okay, and this is optimized just about perfectly. That is, it's only showing us the triangles that we can see immediately or that we can see through doorways. Okay, and that's about optimized perfectly. Now, if we go out of there and we go into that other map, 6B, well, we're going to have monsters here, so actually we got to get rid of the monsters. Let's get rid of the monsters in that 6B map real quick here. Just want to kind of show a side-by-side comparison. So there's our 6B. Let's hide those monsters real quick. Entity, hide 1. Click down here. Okay, let's do that to this guy. Hide 1. Okay, save. Oops, save. Compile. Okay, and if we compare that 6B without the portals, again, this is what the engine sees, and it can see everything, right? So we can see that, you know, those portals act almost like dynamic walls or doors, and they create, they seal little areas of the map so it basically minimizes what the engine can see. All right, so that's not what we want. We don't want to see this entire map. We want to be able to have this sort of action of these portals closing. Okay, so that's kind of illustrating how it works. Now, one other command we can do here, let's go our show triz again. Okay, here, and we'll go 0. And we're going to put in a command of r_show Portals 1 and hit enter. And then what we're going to see here is it outlines the portals, and green means that that portal is closed, and red means that it's, green means that it's open, red is that it's closed. And we can see as we move through it, those portals open and close, you see? Now, obviously when they overlap, they open. All right, and back here, that one's still closed. As we come upon it, it opens, and that one back here shows us that it's closed, etc. And basically, the trick here is the placement of it, okay? Now, normally in doorways, that's a natural. But here, we can see there's no doorway there, but I experimented a little bit with this map, and I put the portal there, and it worked great. And it's kind of an art and a science. Once you start to kind of mess with portals, you kind of get a sense of, you know, where they go, and you do eventually kind of get the hang of it. You can see that kind of action there. And I mean, if we go into the map, let's just make sure we're in 6. Now, by the way, if you can't see the portals, let's just go into 6 here real quick. If you can't see the portals, make sure that you go up here to view, show, and just make sure the portals down here is checked off. Because if you don't have that checked off, they're not going to show. And if you put them in and they're not there, you're scratching your head going, what's up? It's because you've hidden them. So, and let me just select them just so you can kind of see where I've placed them in the map. So there's one there. Okay, and there's one there. Just want to highlight them just to show you the placement of them. Okay, let's go here and grab that one. And let's go here and grab that one. Okay, so if we look in the XYZ window here, we can see that I've got it here in this doorway, or in this hallway, here again in this hallway. I stuck it here kind of in this maze, if you will, right here. And then, of course, the other one, the natural, is right in that doorway there. So I hope you guys can see that. Now, originally, I think I drew this Vis Portal here, this one. I think I drew it here originally. It wasn't working very good, so I repositioned it here, and then I got it just about bang on. So, so you have to experiment with it a little bit. And you can see here whenever we have kind of a maze, like a back and forth, that helps to seal that map, okay? And you'll find in a lot of the Doom 3 maps, they do kind of have these little mazes to help seal the map. So that's really important to do. Now, you know, again, it's a little bit of a dry topic, but it's super important because it can turn a map that you've worked on for days, weeks, months, and all of a sudden it starts to crawl and lag, and you know, your frame rate is really low, and basically it makes your map not playable. Very frustrating. If you're not aware of portals and sealing, then it can really create problems for you. So there's Vis Portals, a quick overview. Again, go online, read those 2 articles. That helps a lot. You can actually just even, you know, spend an afternoon drawing a couple of maps, throwing in some Vis Portals, experimenting, using that r_show portals 1 and also r_show triz 3 to see where they are. Experiment a little bit, and then that'll get you going on your optimization. So let's have a quick look at light overlap. Okay, so one last note about Vis Portals. If you remember way back in video 1, Introduction to the Editor, I showed you guys how to load the Doom 3 maps into the editor, and that's what I've done here. I've loaded com_outside.map into my editor. And let me just maximize this window here. So here we are in one of the Doom 3 maps. And let's just hide a couple of these entities here to make it a bit easier for us. There we go. And if we poke around these maps, we can basically see where the id developers had put their Vis Portals. So here's a door that they've put in. So let's just hide that. And there we see there's a Vis Portal. So if we just hide everything but that, we can see that it is indeed a Vis Portal. And it's sitting there in one of their doorways. So let's just bring everything back. And we can also see here in this room, they've drawn a big one, and this is not in a doorway. This is just a big Vis Portal here. Let's just hide it, and it's kind of cutting off this room. And again, I guess when they were optimizing it, they found that putting a portal across there does help. So that's one other way to figure out how you know, these Vis Portals should be placed, is jump in, you know, load up a couple of the Doom 3 maps, poke around in there, and have a look where they have their portals. And again, just make sure that view, show, and that portals is checked, otherwise you won't see them. So that's a good tip to see how it does it, and that gives you another way to look at how portals are placed. Now, you know, look at the size of these maps. I mean, if you look at this map, if we scroll out here, it's huge, right? All these rooms and entities. And if you're standing way at the, you know, far end of the map here, and you look and you see all this, I mean, that engine's just going to sputter. Your video card and CPU are going to basically blow up, and the game's just not going to run. And I really hate to see you guys spend, days, weeks, months on a map, and then all of a sudden it just, the FPS drops to the floor and basically makes your map unplayable. So, these Vis Portals are very important. A little dry, a little technical, but, critical to making good maps. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let's go back into that map 6B, and let's have a look at another way to optimize our maps, which is through another diagnostic tool which shows us our lights and specifically where our lights overlap. Now, kind of an interesting side note, I was kind of poking around in some literature for the Unreal 4 engine. And it looks like they have a similar diagnostic tool to, diagnose where lights overlap. So that kind of gives a hint to me that probably light overlap is an issue in other engines as well. But let's go into the map and let's just have a look and see what I'm getting at. So let me just make sure I've got my map 6B here. That's the one without the portals. Okay, there it is there, and let's load that up. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull up another command here in our command line. What we're going to type in here is r underscore show light count, and we're going to hit 1. We can go 1, 2, 3 here. They have different functions, but we'll go 1 for now. Now it's going to kind of blow our mind here a little bit, but stick with me. So basically when we run around our map, what this is depicting is the light volumes and specifically where they overlap. And I'll explain these colors in a moment, but when we run around the map, we can see all these different colors. And the upshot is that green, red, black is for no lights. These are showing where the light volumes overlap, and red, green, blue, that's all fine. And the colors we really want to avoid, and I'll show you this in a second, is white and sienna, and I believe it's pink. And you can see in our map here we have sienna. Okay, and this means that we've got some overlapping issues here. I'll show you the color translation in a moment, but we do not want to see this sienna color right here, and we definitely want to see white, don't want to see white. So if you do this diagnostic and all of a sudden in your map you're seeing a lot of sienna, a lot of pink, a lot of white, you've got a bit of problem. So let's just get rid of this light count because it's giving me a headache. I'm just going to jump out of here and we're going to go onto the internet here real quick. And interestingly enough, again, these folks in the Dark Mod have done a great job. Again, in their Wikipedia here, they've got an article called Performance Essential Must Knows. And I'll put the link here down in the description below. But if we scroll down here, they have a little section on light counts. And they've got it translated here. It says red equals 0. Now, I'm not sure about that because 0 seems to me to be black where there's no light. And I'll go back in the map and I'll show you what I mean. But so they're saying the color red says no light overlap. Green is 1 light overlap. Blue is 2 light overlap. Sienna is 3. And we've got that little sienna in our map problem. Pink is 4 and white is 5 plus lights overlapping. So again, if you see any pink, sienna, or white in your map, you've got to do a little bit of fixing. So let's jump back into the map. And see what I mean about this light count is I think that the literature might be a little off. Whoops, might be a little off in that if we go here into this map, well here, see in the map, we can see that that surface of that crate there is totally black. And if we go into our light count 1, it's depicting as black. So my read on that is that where you see black, there's no lights, as opposed to what the translation was in that Wikipedia article. But anyways, we can see that we have a sienna block here. So what's giving us that? Let's have a quick look. So if we go into the map, and we are in 6B, and we zoom in a little bit, if we select this light and this light, if we can select it and this light, we can see that there are 3 lights overlapping, because don't forget when you click on a light it gives you that little purple box and that shows you the volume of the light. So again, if we click on all 3 of them, we can see that there's in fact 3 of them overlapping here. All right, that's a bit of a problem. Now we can fix that real quick by just grabbing this light here and shifting it up. Now it's going to have implications with respect to our aesthetics on our map, but just for now let's just move it up here. So that's one way we could fix it. So if we grab all 3 again, here, and there, we can see, whoops, we can see that we no longer have 3 overlap, just 2. So if we save that and we BSP and we go back into the map, so let's just make sure we grab it. Let's take off our light. Well, we can leave that light count off for now, or on for now. So where's our map 6B? There it is there. So we fixed it. And you can see that we no longer have that sienna color there. Now it's blue. So it's telling us, I believe it's 2. So whatever that light translation is. So, okay, let's get rid of that because that is giving me a headache. So it's a little disconcerting, that light diagnostic tool, but very valuable because, again, you don't want to have more than, 2 or 3 lights overlapping. Now, here you can see it did affect the aesthetic of the map. And I mean, this is too dark. We have to fix that. Maybe we can put a smaller light in there or something like that. But experiment and just make sure that your lights don't overlap, and that's another way we can optimize it. So I think that's it. It's optimization's a little dry, a little technical. I didn't think it'd make a great video, so I try to blast through it as quick as I can, but it is important. Like I said, I don't want you guys to spend a lot of time developing your maps and then having them basically crash because they're not optimized properly. So there that is. So I do want to thank everyone for watching. I mean, if you guys have any ideas for Doom 3 editor video subject matter, drop me a comment or an email. That would be great. I mean, I have lots of ideas. We're going to have some great ones coming up, and we're going to keep making a few more of these just to sort of coincide with our Doom 3 playthroughs. So if you're enjoying this video series, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. And stay tuned as more Doom 3 playthrough and editor videos are coming up in the near future. As always, thank you for watching, stay well, and we will see you soon.